Good evening, everyone. The date is February 25th, 2026. The time is 6 p.m. and this is the City Council meeting for the City of Columbus. The first thing on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody can stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Third item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Is there anybody here like to make a motion?
This is Scott. I move to adopt the February 25th, 2026 City Council agenda with additions B5, acceptance and resignation of the accounting assistant, B6, resolution of support of the Hornsby Street Road project bonding bill request, and item F, closed session to consider the sale of city-owned properties.
This is Jenny, I second.
So we got a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Jenny?
Jenny, I.
Scott, aye.
Aaron, aye.
Rob, aye.
And Ron, aye. Go to item B, consent agenda. Anybody want to make a motion on that one?
This is Karen. I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I'll second it. Any discussion, further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Jenny?
Jenny, I.
Scott, aye.
Aaron, aye.
Rob, aye.
And Ron, aye. Go to item C, presentations and items for council action. First thing on the agenda is the open forum. Is there anybody here that'd like to get up and make a comment to the council? Is there anybody online that would like to make a comment to the council or a statement? Hearing none, we'll close the open for public forum. We'll go on to item number 2, conditional use permit, 944 Lake Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Before we go too much farther, I just want to let anyone know online that we're paying attention to the Lemire waiver issue. That item was approved in the consent agenda. There will not be a presentation, but you're more than welcome to stick around for the rest of the council meeting if you'd like. But you can have the evening to yourself if you don't want to take in the rest of the meeting. So just a little point of order.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Didn't want them to be too disappointed that they're not going to hear anything about their proposal and then we adjourn. So, all right. Thanks again, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. The city has received an application from the Holiday Station Store Incorporated for their property located at 9444 Lake Drive Northeast. This property currently operates as a fuel station and convenience store under a conditional use permit originally approved in the 1990s. The conditional use permit contains minimal conditions and does not reflect current city code requirements. The application is requesting approval of a conditional use permit amendment to allow the addition of an automated car wash and associated site improvements within the community commercial zoning district. Although the request is technically limited to adding a car wash, the amendment also brings the overall development into compliance with current zoning, site design, landscaping, parking, and performance standards located in city code. Staff have reviewed the conditional use permit amendment application, the supporting submission documents and development plans, and determined that the application is complete, could be processed. The proposed CUP amendment is consistent with the city's intent of the community commercial zoning district, the city's comprehensive plan, and applicable performance standards of the city code. All application materials have been forwarded to the appropriate regulatory partners for comments. All comments have been received and forwarded back to the applicant. Any remaining outstanding items have been included as conditions and would be verified for completeness prior to the issuance of any permits associated with this project. The Planning Commission on February 4th, 2026 held a public hearing and recommended conditional approval of the CUP amendment to the City Council. City Council should consider approval of the conditional use permit amendment for the Holiday Station store at 944 Lake Drive Northeast, subject to the stated findings of fact and conditions of approval.
Thank you, Aaron. Is there anybody has any discussion about this?
Mr. Mayor, I just have a couple quick questions, if I may. The RV dump station, is that connected to an MCES sewer, or is there some other kind of tank or situation for the RV tank?
Yeah,
It's connected to our municipal sewer system.
Okay. And then, just out of curiosity, I see someone from Holiday here. I see on the front of the building, it's going to be Circle K, and the sign still says Holiday. Is that correct? And that's my own curiosity.
Council. I believe this will be branded as Circle K.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it still retain the Holiday Station sign when you redo the
I think it will say Circle K. Yeah.
Okay.
Just for the record, could you give your name
I'm Kasner Sturm,
and your address?
6000 Clearwater Drive, Minnetonka.
Thank you. Jenny?
One other question, kind of going back to Public Works. Do we have any concerns about the car wash with adding that, water load against what we have currently? I know we're talking about a water tower, both what we currently have. Do you have any concerns, Jim?
No. Short answer, no.
Eric, that was my main question. It's very exciting to have a car wash. I think Columbus has wanted that for a long time, and I think the updates coming will be really good for the city. I know we have residents that are already talking about it, so thank you for bringing these updates to Columbus.
I have one question. Are you going to close the building down completely to rebuild, or is it going to work half and half?
Yeah, probably for a period of time we're going to have to close because we're building on that same footprint or rebuilding.
That's just curiosity. Thank you. Anybody else have any
This is
questions?
Karen. What is your position with them?
I'm the development manager.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, this is Rob. Are you working with any particular contractor at this point, or?
We have not picked a GC yet, no.
Okay, thank you.
I was informed today, reviewing permits, that until you all approve the comprehensive plan amendment, they're not going to go out for bid.
Sure.
But we do have a bunch of pending permits ready to go as soon as you guys make the approval or make any modifications tonight. So it's kind of all dependent on you.
Mr. Mayor, I think there's just one thing I want to point out here, that there were some citizens that have concerns with car washes in the city. There's a 20% reclaim in the CUP. So there are people that will be happy to see that.
Jenny, you have anything else?
No.
Looking down the line, I don't see anybody with anything else. I'll make a motion. I, Ron Hanegraaff, move to approve the conditional use permit amendment for the Holiday Station store at 9444 Lake Drive Northeast, subject to the stated findings and conditions of approval of this agenda item.
It's Jenny, I second.
We have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Jenny?
Jenny, I.
Scott, aye?
Karen, aye.
Rob, aye.
And Ron, aye. And the motion passes unanimously. So thank you very much.
Thank you, council.
On to item number 3. Rezoning and comp plan amendment, PID 25-32-22-14-0001.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm going to try and pronounce this properly. Fayemoville Family Trust owns the property ID that you just recited. I'm not going to recite it. It's an approximate 34.65 acre parcel in the northeast corner of 145th Avenue Northeast and Hornsby Street Northeast. They've had the parcel for sale for some time. They have received interest from multiple buyers who have intended uses that are not permitted by the general business zoning code. This interest demonstrates that there is some demand for light industrial use at this site, and it would be compatible with adjacent parcel zoning designations. The parcel is currently zoned general business. There are a variety of uses on the adjacent parcels, including highway commercial, general business, and light industrial to the south. This potential rezoning of the property from a commercial to a light industrial designation requires a corresponding comprehensive plan amendment, adjacent jurisdiction comment period, and Metropolitan Council approval. Easy for me to say. The item was in front of the Planning Commission on February 4th. There was a public hearing held where there were no comments given. The adjacent community or adjacent affected units of government have received their notifications. I have received 4 of the 5 back with no objection. I'm still waiting on the 5th comment, which is required for submission for the comp plan amendment to the Met Council. According to our sector representative, a resolution and a motion of approval is required tonight before we can submit for the comp plan amendment. So it needs to go in companion with that for them to administratively review. So the city council should consider approving both the ordinance change, which is a zoning map amendment, and the resolution included in your packet for a comprehensive plan amendment contingent Met Council approval, and direct staff to submit a comprehensive plan amendment submittal form to the Met Council for their approval. I do believe the applicants are here in the audience. If you have any questions, they'd be more than happy to answer those. I suspect, as you can see on the maps in your packet, there is a small parcel of property that's separate from this 40-acre parcel that would remain commercial zoned, and it's kind of isolated. I'm expecting Met Council to let us know that we're going to have to consider rezoning that without them asking for a rezoning. My intent would be to let the Met Council know that the future development of South Hornsby Street might make this a prime commercial corner at some point down the road, and maybe we don't want to consider rezoning immediately in case a service station or something more adjacent to a main thoroughfare would be appropriate in that location, but we'll see what kind of pushback we get from the Met Council. I don't think that that's going to stop this action from happening, but council may have to take further action on that small corner in the future.
Yeah, but the owners are out in the audience here. Was that lot split off of the main farm at one time? That was like
in the 60s.
That was the homestead then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, for the farm, but it's way back in the 60s it was sold, or?
Yes, I believe that was true.
Oh, okay. It isn't something current that you're just cutting off. Thank you. Any other?
This is Jenny. I have one question more for city staff that you may or may not be able to answer because it may precede your time with the city, but just in layman's terms, can somebody explain to me why we have so many different zoning districts within this small space? So we have general business, community commercial, general commercial, and highway commercial all within this area. And obviously, this family isn't able to, it hasn't been productive in selling their land as it is current. So can you explain what that would look like for us?
I have assumptions, but I don't have an answer for you.
That's a question we've asked many times. There's another area up around Holiday that has 4 different zoning districts in about a quarter-mile radius. So I imagine that there was maybe some concern over making sure that different things were put in there that could be restricted. But what our goal is going forward is to try to consolidate these in a much more meaningful zoning plan. Probably that won't be done until we do the comp plan for starting in 2 years, but that's one of our goals, is to get this zoning more consistent in those areas.
Thank you.
And right, our new comprehensive plan is due at the end of this year? Next year?
No, it'll be due in 2029. So
2029. Okay.
we'll probably start on it at the end of next year, though.
I think, Rob, you'd remember back.
Yeah.
that was all happening around 2019 to 18.
Yeah, it's right when I came on council, we were just starting to tie that. I mean, it was a lot of workshop meetings from 2020 probably to 2022. Do you feel like, Ron? I mean, I know there was a lot of joint planning meetings with the council and the planning commission, and a lot of different views on what things should be zoned for what not. So it was.
Just to let you know, Jenny, when I was back in late 90s on the planning commission, that whole area was zoned entertainment. And then it kept changing, you know, well, like Rob said, it kept moving, but you got to go with what the businesses are doing. So we did discuss this at our workshop meeting, so we had a long discussion. Any other discussion on it? Comments?
This is Karen. I just have a question for staff as well. Is there any tax ramifications between the different zonings?
No.
No? Okay.
It'll be just based on valuation, and the zoning has nothing to do with it except for what kind of use, and then use then determines what valuation is.
However, as Jack has said, the sooner we get something on there that's generating revenue, the more we collect in the long run. So it can sit vacant and collect the same amount of property tax year after year after year, or it can be sold and it can be rezoned for a use and then be sold and then have a higher property value. And then, as you know, we would collect more revenue. So,
And some of these properties may be zoned for a particular use, but it's not necessarily their tax classification. This could actually have an ag tax classification. So it's a mixture of, if it's in a rural area or if it's next to other ag properties, it's probably going to have an ag tax classification, and that's what determines the tax rate and the taxes paid on it.
Okay, thank you.
there's one other benefit to the potential rezone and a sale of this property is there's some deferred assessments for water and utility connections from the past that will eventually have to be settled up when a transaction happens. So the city will be getting some missing revenue if and when it sells.
And just to add one more thing on Aaron's comment on the deferred assessments, we've looked into that, and there's about 31 of them, but only 28 of them or only 3 of them are actually collectible. The others are collectible only upon the sale of the property or essentially the death of the owner. So there'll be lots of those that may go on for several more years, but Aaron's point is once these are sold, then they will be subject to the special utility or road assessments that were placed on these parcels.
Thank you.
Rob, do you have anything?
No, Mayor.
Any other discussion?
No, I'd just say it sounds like a win-win for the citizens of Columbus and the sellers, so it's kind of a no-brainer.
Well, then I'll make the motion. Ron Hanegraaff, move to approve Ordinance 26-03 zoning map amendment and Resolutions 26-03 comprehensive plan amendment contingent upon the Met Council approval and direct staff to submit a comprehensive plan amendment submittal form to the MEG Met Council for their approval. Boy, that was a long one.
Rob, I'll second.
Oh, Rob's got it.
You're welcome.
We have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Jenny?
Jenny, aye.
Scott, aye.
Aaron, aye.
Rob, aye.
And Ron, aye. It passes unanimously. So
Good luck.
good luck.
Yes.
On item number 4, ordinance 26-02 Personnel Committee.
At the January 6, 2026 City Council Workshop meeting, staff presented information regarding the role of the Personnel Committee and the lack of evidence in city records of any formal action creating this body. The function of the Personnel Committee is to advise the City Council in matters related to personnel administration, employment policies, and human resources while preserving the council's ultimate authority over employment matters. City archives are absent of any records that provide documentation of the official creation of this committee. The March 10th, 2021 City Council meeting showed the degree of authority was assigned to the Personnel Committee by City Council. These minutes, which are exhibited in attachment 1 of your packet, state what the committee can do without council approval. This action was taken to streamline the process for updates to human resource policies and needs, and later to address the process for hiring a new city administrator. As these tasks have been accomplished, staff recommends that council consider the establishment of this committee by ordinance to include the realignment of the scope and composition of the Personnel Committee to reflect the current expectations of City Council. This matter was discussed and tabled at the January 28, 2026 meeting for legal review. That review has been completed, and the recommendations of the city attorney are provided in attachment 2 as Ordinance 2602 red line copy. Staff requests that council discuss and consider approving Ordinance 2602 as exhibited in attachment 2 to formalize the Personnel Committee by ordinance and establish its duties, composition, and limits of authority.
Thank you, Jack. We've all discussed this several times, so is there any other discussion on it? Hearing none. I'll make a motion. I, Ron Hanegraaff, move to approve Ordinance 26-02 to formalize the Personnel Committee by ordinance and establish its duties, composition, and limitations of authority as exhibited in attachment 2 of this agenda item.
This is Jenny, I second.
Have a motion on the floor that's been seconded. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. Jenny?
Jenny, aye.
Scott, aye.
Karen, aye.
Rob, aye.
And Ron, aye. The ordinance passes. On item number 5, 2026 general fund transfer. Is this Cheryl's?
A transfer of $10,294.18 from the general fund to the Park Capital Fund is needed to cover the funding gap for the tennis court project. This was previously discussed at the City Council meeting on February 11th. The city will use proceeds from the proposed sale of a publicly owned property exceeding this amount to reimburse the general fund for this transfer. Should the sale of the property not occur or fall short, the city also has some other considerations that I've listed for you. Use of park dedication fees, or consideration of a transfer from the general fund to the Parks Capital Fund as an investment in the park infrastructure with no obligation for repayment. So we are requesting approval of the fund transfer from the general fund to the Park Capital Fund.
Thank you, Cheryl. Is there any comments? Discussion? Hearing none. Somebody want to make the motion?
This is Jenny, I can make a motion. I, Jenny, move to approve a fund transfer in the amount of $10,294.18 from General Fund 100 to the Park Capital Fund 403.
This is Karen, I'll second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Jenny?
Jenny, aye.
Scott, aye.
Karen, aye.
Rob, aye.
Ron, aye. The motion passes. On item number 6, the 2027 Sunrise River Water Management Budget.
The Sunrise River WMO is a joint power special purpose unit of government composed of members of Linwood, East Bethel, Columbus, and Ham Lake, collaborating to manage water resources. This arrangement is based upon the recognition that water-related issues and management do not stop at municipal boundaries. The Sunrise River WMO is involved in many aspects of water management, including planning and regulation, water quality, flooding, shoreland management, recreation, wildlife, and erosion control. The WMO has a state-approved watershed management plan, which outlines their policies and plans of work. Cities and townships' local water management plan must be consistent with those of the WMO. The Sunrise River WMO Board does not have employees. Instead, it works through a cooperative effort of member cities and townships and contracts with the Anoka County Conservation Districts or other consultants. Sunrise River WMO has prepared their 2027 budget and is requesting ratification by each member municipality. Sunrise River WMO does not have any taxing power and depends upon the individual members' funding allocations as established in the JPA for their budget. The City of Columbus share of the 2026 Sunrise River WMO budget was $10,596, and our share for 2027 is projected to increase to $11,479. Staff is recommending the City Council consider the approval of the 2027 Sunrise River WMO budget. Attachment 1 in your packet reviews and outlines their proposed budget and the proportional costs for each member municipality.
Thank you, Jack. Any comments? I kind of understand what they're saying. They don't want it to go up 1 year, but it sure went up for 1 year. I mean, this is supposed to level off now? Or?
Yeah, if you'll look, there's a graph chart in there that shows it will level off for 2027, 2028, and 29. The reason for the $1,000 increase is every 10 years, they're required by the Bureau of Soil and Water Resources to produce a water resource plan. So this is coming to you, and it'll be worked on for the next 2 or 3 years. So they're budgeting this amount out over the 3 years instead of having it impact each locality on a 1-year time.
That's just to write the report.
That's correct.
To hire people to write it.
Yes.
That's what I needed clarified.
So there's also a chart in there that shows what each municipality pays. Linwood pays the most, East Bethel the second, Columbus the third, and Ham Lake the least. Ham Lake's least payment is due because they have a smaller proportion of their area within this watershed.
Any discussion? Any comments? Hearing none. Somebody want to make a motion?
Ms. Karen, I'll make a motion. I, Karen Fleming, move to approve the 2027 Sunrise River Watershed Management Organization's budget as exhibited in Attachment 1, Item C6, as of February 25th, 2026 City Council meeting.
It's Rob, I'll second.
We have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to Jenny again.
Jenny, aye.
Scott, aye.
Karen, aye.
Rob, aye.
And Ron, aye. The motion passes. We'll go on to item number 7, set agenda for March 3rd, 2026, City Council work meeting.
The City Council workshop meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Staff recommends that the following items be included on the agenda for this meeting. Number 1 would be the Wold Architect presentation and discussion for renovation of City Hall and eventually the comparison of the cost of renovation versus the new building cost. Also, we would like to bring back again the Minnesota Investment Loan Fund discussion for Bear Home. They want to proceed with this through an application to deed for an expansion of their building and to fund the equipment needed to make the inside of this functional for their new addition in their line of work. Also, we need to start talking again about the city water tower discussion. As Jim answered a question on the impact of holiday, we're only going to be able to absorb so many of those in the near future. With the proposal for an apartment complex that will have 200 units coming on board, we need to start looking at that sooner rather than later so that we're not caught in a dilemma where we're going to have capacity issues. Another item that needs discussion is non-dual kennels to try to finalize exactly what we're going to do with that. And also it was requested too that we have a discussion on the state flag display. New, old, or indifferent?
So you're asking us if we want to add anything else to that?
Yeah, add or take away.
Want to take away anything, anybody? That'll be an interesting topic anyway, all of them. So, no comments? No discussion? Somebody want to make a motion on that?
This is Scott. I can make the motion to approve the agenda for the March 3rd, 2026 City Council Workshop meeting as presented in the staff recommendation for item C7 of the February 25th, 2026 City Council meeting.
Jenny, I second.
And a motion on the floor, it's been seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Jenny?
Jenny, I.
Scott, aye.
Aaron, aye.
Bye-bye.
And Ron, aye. Motion passes. We'll go on to item D, staff reports. Number 1, Brian, you're always up first.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Brian Bachmeyer, Consulting City Engineer. I have no formal reports this evening, but I was just going to mention that we will have the Notre Dame plans and specifications available for council review and approval at their first meeting in March 11th. So we'll be getting that back to you. The other thing I can just share with you, I did talk with AET, the boring company on the water tower site, and unfortunately it's not looking like they're going to be able to get out there to do that second round of borings until the week of March 9th is the earliest they can get out there. I think they're still making up for last time when we had that extremely cold weather. So we won't have that information back from them, but we will have other information to discuss at the workshop. So available for any other questions the council may have.
Oh, Rob's going.
Yeah, Brian. So in conjunction with that Notre Dame, are we bidding that as is, like same width, all that? Are we looking to put any sort of shoulder there? The reason I asked is I've been reached out to by Columbus School and several other residents about what it looks like having a little wider road. Currently, they do multiple field trips to the park. And they're bringing students, they're walking down that road. It's very unsafe to where they end up having like a parent chaperone driving a car, or they'll have a police officer follow them as they're walking down the road. They want to do that more and be able to utilize the park with the school and the school district. Do you know if possibly there's any sort of grants or things like that? Or I know in the past there was grants I'd heard about that City of Blaine got for connecting school properties to city parks and things for educational purposes. Is that anything that we could try to tie into this, or would it just really delay the process?
I think the program you're referring to is the Safe Routes to School grant program through MnDOT, and it's actually federally funded, but it is administered through the state of Minnesota, MnDOT, but certainly not in the time frame that we're talking about.
Okay.
Project. It's something that if it is a priority for the city, we could try to scope out a project that you're referring to and consider a future application for a Safe Route to School grant. But the current plans do not include any widening. I think the discussion we had was we were going to replace the road as is. The only exception was the change in alignment right across the street here to improve the intersection with Kettle River, and also paving the parking lot for the park right across the street and the City Hall parking lot. And I think those were identified as bid alternates. So, depending upon how the bids come in, they can be awarded or not included with the contract.
So like for like, I mean, your personal experience, what would that look like to widen one side of the road? Is that a very extensive cost or not as much?
Certainly, you're going to be dealing with, subgrade correction, pushing out the shoulder of the road if ditches need to be pushed out further. I don't know if there's sufficient right-of-way to do that, so it may trigger some right-of-way acquisition. Those are obviously things that come to mind right off the bat.
Yeah, I bring it up just because I personally have got a lot of backlash since we kind of ixnayed the trail on Potomac. The residents on Potomac didn't want it, but everybody else that connects to Potomac wanted it. And then now with what's going to happen with Lake Drive and people talking against having some sort of bike route down there, we're not really making our city usable for residents, right? There's no way to get to the park without them getting in there side by side and driving to the park, right? So we're not making our community very usable. But I wanted to bring it up for, consideration. what does that look like? Yeah, we got a park trail, we got to repave, we got a lot of expenses, but trying to make our city more usable for our residents, but maybe it's future project. Probably should have brought, I did bring this up before you were city engineer.
Oh.
And it just seemed to fall on deaf ears, and that was before we're working with who we are, Jack and Aaron and the team here and Jim. You weren't involved in that really, so, but yeah, I just guess I wanted to bring it up, and maybe it's down the road. What does it look like? Do we do some sort of study on what that looks like? So, and maybe those funds aren't available now.
Rob, for your information too, when we finish this parks master plan up, that will be a trail segment that will be recommended as a connection to the school. We'll have set priorities. We can get the cost estimates and funding sources for that hopefully in the next 6 months to see where that's going to lead us. And having that as part of the park master plan maybe enable us to qualify for more funds for that project.
Sure. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate the consideration, council and mayor.
Thank you, Rob. Any other comments or questions for Brian? Thank you, Brian. Wait.
One more thing, sorry. Any update on Hornsby, on the Forest Lake side of things, when they're going to start surcharging that, or they got to wait till the frost is out?
Certainly, they're going to have to wait till the frost is out, and I understand they're also waiting for an additional permit that they have to acquire before they can really commence a lot of the construction activity. So I know the city of Forest Lake is pushing for it, trying to get it done so that when the frost comes out of the ground, they can start working, but as of now, I have not heard a definitive date.
Yeah, I just replaced my front struts on my brand new truck.
That's all, Brian?
Yes.
We'll go over to Megan, city attorney's report.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I have nothing to report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. And we go to the council's report. Jenny, do you have anything to report?
I have a couple things. So the Personnel Committee met on Tuesday, February 17th to further review the results of the report provided in 2025 by Mark Goldberg of DDA. We'll have more to come on that in the coming weeks. And then Fall Fest has a committee meeting coming up on Tuesday, March 10th.
Thank you. Scott, do you have anything?
No report, Mayor. Thanks.
Karen?
No, I have no report, Mr. Mayor.
Rob, do you have anything?
Yeah. So as it got warmer there for a couple weeks, right? A lot of people using the park, me myself included, bringing family up there and biking. Pretty disgusted about the public not picking up their dog's feces, right? I think Ron, you probably notice it every morning, but it was very alarming what a mess it looks like, and that's not Public Works' fault. They got bags every 20 feet, it seems like 30 feet, you can grab a bag. But another thing was people walking their dogs off the leash, right? They're running off at individuals. So I don't know if that looks like we need to implement some kind of fine system for these people that are just neglecting to take care of their animals. We have a city ordinance that says your dog has to be on a leash. It's one thing if you're, on your own personal road or your neighborhood road where everybody knows your dog and your dog's friendly, but there was kids trying to dodge dogs and things like that. I just thought it was very tasteless per se, but this Public Works is, if they have to pick it up, they're going to spend 2 days picking up dog.
Well, just to relay what's going on in the park board, this has been brought up before. We talked about putting more signs up.
Sure.
To see if that'll work, but we're also looking at maybe getting a group of people called the Friends of the Park.
Sure.
And in the spring, go out and clean it.
Yeah.
Then in the fall, go back out and clean it and see how many people we can get. I think we could get a lot of people if we advertise. I think we talked about it.
Yeah, and personally, I'd be willing to help with that too, but I don't feel like that's something the park board or us as council should even have to do, right? Like pick up someone else's dog.
Now, I walk with 3 people every morning. They pick up everybody's dog if they see it.
Yeah.
And now it's getting with
Well,
the snow, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem, and I think a lot of people have that. Parks have that problem, but.
And the park board puts a lot of time and effort into that park, right? And then just to have, maybe it's people from other communities that don't care, right? Like,
Yeah, you never know.
so,
It's hard to approach somebody and tell them, you're picking up your dog, whatever.
I'll go right up to them if I see it.
And Rob, just to piggyback off that, I've walked my dog there for years and years.
Yeah.
And Mayor, I don't know what your experience is early in the morning, but there is definitely a noticeable increase in the amount of dogs that are walking that park. And
Sure.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
To the point where I hate to admit it, I will no longer walk my dog in the park in the evenings.
Okay. Yeah, and I bring mine, Scott. We bring both ours,
Yeah, so I actually go out to Carlos Avery now,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And I do think that if there's something we can do so that people are controlling their dogs a little bit better, that maybe we can come up with something.
Yeah, it was wild. I said something to people like, hey, you're supposed to have your dog on a leash, and they just kind of ignored me. Like,
Well, it's on the sign, but another issue is if there's a dog harassing people, we contracted the sheriff's department, they can call them.
Yeah.
And maybe we got to put that out there, but I don't, I'm there at 5:30 in the morning and I can't justify what everybody does after that.
yeah, and you're doing a great job policing that park. The park board does a great job, Public Works, but I think it's just,
I think you have that all the time. In fact, at one time in the city of Forest Lake, they wouldn't allow dogs down in the park by the beach area, and it got so not out of control, but you couldn't put a police officer there to tell you, you can't walk your dog, you can't walk your dog.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the same way over there. I think, are we going to hire a police dog, guy?
Right.
So, I think we have to inform the public more. I think we have to get out there, get signs, and tell them. Even if they're temporary, like those little signs for political signs, push them in, pick up after your dog. I don't want to do it.
I was going to say, this is Karen, would cameras in use be a solution?
Yeah.
I don't think anymore. I don't think people really. One suggestion is, if we have the contract deputy maybe do a walk through there a few times and just give people a warning. Hey, you have to have your dog on a leash.
yeah, we have a compliance officer too. That doesn't cost anything extra.
That would be, I think that's the best way to do it, is have that face-to-face confrontation. I think that's more effective than anything, and
Yeah.
we can certainly look into doing some patrols with our compliance officer to do that, and I'm sure the deputies wouldn't mind to take a little stroll over there occasionally too. Is there a certain time when dog traffic is heaviest, or is it just all throughout the day?
It seems to be right after people get home from work, between 6, 7, in my experience. I don't know, is anybody else?
Lindsay walks in there every day at 4 to 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's,
I think you're spot on at 5 to 7, especially when it's nice out like it was.
I walk in the daytime too. I'll come over there, but you get 2 or 3 dogs walking, I don't know about a multitude of dogs. But
Hey, I'm not opposed to, I got dogs, I'm not opposed to the dogs. It's be an adult and clean up after your dog, It just,
There are a lot of
it's
good
mind
residents that
blowing.
leash their dogs and do pick up.
Oh,
So it's
absolutely.
not like a whole problem.
I really don't think it's our residents personally. I think
Well, there
people
are a
coming
lot of
from
people
other
that
areas.
come- I've talked to a lot of people that are from Forest Lake and Lino Lakes that come here.
But hey, it's here for the community, but I'm just bringing it up as an awareness thing. You saw it,
Well,
but it was alarming, right?
yeah.
Do we have fines for those ordinances, or
Yeah.
maybe just like, Jackson, maybe warnings, or?
I like the idea of putting like the little political signs in the ground, especially if people are on the trail. I think that's a really easy, effective, non-confrontational way to remind people, if that's fair. Would the council have to approve that, or is that something that the city or Public Works could just have made?
Let's make a motion tonight. For 20 units, you can get 21-inch tall signs that are aluminum with the stake for $375.
What would they say?
It says, please clean up after your pet, with a picture of a dog.
How big is it? Oh,
It's 21 inches tall.
would that come out of the park board fund, Jack?
We'd probably have to charge, the park board has no money. We'd probably have to charge that to the Public Works Maintenance Fund, so we have to come up with some extra money for Jim next year.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
The sign itself is 10 inches tall, 7 inches wide, and with the stake and everything, it would be 21 inches tall, of course, depending on how far in the ground you push it.
How many is that?
20 for $375.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah. How many do we got out there now? I know we've got a few out there. don't we?
Okay, 1, 2,
Half a
3.
dozen.
6, yeah, I think there's 6.
I got a half a
Like
mile
4 on the
down.
side and 2 on the tennis court side, I think.
Is there a similar one about leashing dogs that we could also find?
I believe on the sign that's in the park.
Park sign has it.
Parking lot, I believe that it says that on that sign.
Right.
Along with hours and, whatever the rules are there, but I believe it says on there.
With what trail length we got there, 20 signs would be placement of about one every 175, 180 feet.
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think a sign will stop people. I mean, it makes them think anyway.
Right.
I mean, I think we're gonna, if the do crew that we put together is not gonna pick it up, right? It's gonna cost Public Works that to pick it up, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say enough of that, but I'm not going to use that word.
Do you want me to make the motion?
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, so per what Jim just said, I would make a motion for 21 by 10-inch signs at the cost of $375 to be installed in the park.
This is Karen. I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Jenny?
Jenny, aye.
Scott, aye.
Karen, aye.
Rob, aye.
And Ron, aye.
Thank you.
That was a
Thank you,
good,
Jim.
good expenditure.
Ordered here.
Yeah,
So are you going to take these down every time they mow the lawn, or?
yeah, see?
I'm not talking about running them over. I'm talking about taking them down.
Yeah, no, we'll have to move them.
Okay. All right, and then they'll be there in the winter too?
Be frozen, right?
We'll have to get a little more creative in the winter because depending on how much snow you get, they're potentially under the snow. So I'm not sure how we work that, but we can figure something out.
That'd be great. Thank you. Is that it, Rob? Or-
That's it, thank you.
Okay.
And it chewed some time up, but I felt like it was fairly important.
We'll go on to item number 4, because I was going to brief the EDA unless you, okay. Item number 4 is the EDA report, and I'd just like to say that we just had a meeting on February 19th, and it was probably the most productive meeting that we've had, and I want to say years, months, whatever, but it was very, very worthwhile meeting, and I want to thank our Assistant City Administrator, Aaron Berg, for setting up a speaker from Twin Cities Gateway, which is an outfit that with cost, we have to pay them or something like that. We're just looking at it, but they marketing tourism for cities, and they do the North Metro. But it was very interesting, and they also talked about the laws on tourism funds from motels and stuff like that. So it was very productive. We also, the board also set up the process of setting up an interview for an applicant for our open seat on the board. That won't take place until March something. Also, Columbus is coming up, and we discussed that we'd like, I think several years ago, and Rob, you'd remember that, when we used to hand out them yellow cards.
Yeah.
If everybody on the council is into it. And I don't know if we go to EDA. Did we go to the planning? We must have gone to the planning commission too. And there's 70 businesses, and we all split them up and go knock on the door and give them, hopefully we get people at the Columbus. So that's one part of it.
I was going to say, Mr. Mayor, I think I was on the committee at that time. I think the EDA just did it. I don't think the planning commission was part of it. I think just we did it all with the city council.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the council all had a seat on the
So
EDA
maybe
at
not
that
the
time.
planning commission,
Yeah, it
maybe,
was the EDA and the city council.
EDA and the council. But it worked out pretty good, I think. So that's
To
what
to your point, Mary, that was a good way to stop in and get to know who these businesses are, right? You know, I think we all fairly know them by now, but
well, not all 70 of them, but
yeah,
we
yeah.
have our personal little ones, you know, here and there.
Mhm.
But it was a good meeting, and just to let everybody know. And then our next meeting will be April 16th at 5 PM. The Park Board, which is item number 5, there's nothing to report, but we do have a meeting coming up, I don't know, next month, March, and we'll discuss other options we could do with what's happening in the park. And we'll go on to item number 6, the Public Works report. Jim?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
And we'll go over to Jack, City Administrator's report.
Just a quick update. I've talked with Bill Griffith about having the annual Larkin Hoffman meeting that they set up so we can go talk to our legislatures about bonding bills, physical disparities, or any other issues that affect the city of Columbus. And he and Margaret are currently setting that up. Tentatively, it's for March the 11th, but if it appears the legislature's schedules are really busy, they may recommend an alternate date. So we'll know something here probably by the first of the week, what that schedule is.
That's great to go to. You know, it's kind of neat seeing different people down there. Is that it, Jack?
That's it.
All right, item number E, announcements and reminders. There's a fire board meeting tomorrow night, February 26, 2026 at 5 PM, Forest Lake Fire Department. City Council workshop meeting, March 3rd, 2026 at 5:30 PM. Planning Commission meeting, March 4th, 2026 at 6 PM. City Council regular meeting on March 11th, 2026 at 6 PM. And right now, we're going to go to item F, which is a closed session. The City Council meeting will be closed to consider the sale of city-owned real property identified as 24-32-22-11-0006 and 15-32-22-23-0008 pursuant to the Minnesota State Statute, Section 13D.05 subdivision 3, parentheses C and 3. So we're going to close the meeting.